Gary Stevens here to take you through the week on HRTV. It was a week of historic firsts. The first night racing at Churchill Downs.
Not only seeing it, but seeing this crowd turn out is a phenomenal thing. It's not that often you can be around a place that's been in existence for 135 years to experience something completely new, but that's what we're doing tonight.
First four-time winner of the Black Tie Affair.
At the age of 8, Fort Prado, still great.
He just keeps on going along. He's a great horse. He's a fun horse to root for.
And the first moose at Saratoga.
Way to go, Saratoga.
Or how does that work?
Mises, mooses, mices.
Moose, I help you.
Michael Matz was on the phone before Nicanor's second start on the turf this Wednesday at Delaware Park.
How proud were you of Nicanor last time out when he won by 15 lengths?
Well, I mean, we you know, there was a lot of hype being the younger brother of Barbaro, and he is a very good horse. And it just, unfortunately, the first race when he grabbed a quarter, and he did run two nice races and just couldn't get it done after that. But he finally put it together, and I don't know if it was just the fact that we put blinkers on it, he went around 2 turns, or the turf, or the maturity. So I guess between all 4 of them, everything came together. And the horse wins that easily. We're hoping down the road, and then today, if he runs well, I mean, I think at that point we'll try to find a stake for him to go into, and whether it be maybe something like the Virginia Derby or the Secretariat or something like that. But you know, basically, we wanted to try to get another turf race under his belt, so he can take on you know, horses that have run in stakes already.
Nicanor to catch, and Nicanor opens up 4.5 on the field. Rabbit Tracks on the outside, trying to move into second. Stebbles battling that one. White Holiday's a late rally on the outside. Furlong to go, Nicanor leads it. On the outside, White Holiday's kicking in nicely with Stebble and Rabbit Tracks between horses, but Nicanor is going to stick it out, it appears. Nicanor, undefeated on the turf, wins it by 2. White Holiday closed well for second, followed by Stebble and Rabbit Tracks.
Illinois breds were the highlight of Arlington's week, including the 8-year-old Fort Prado winning his 4th Black Tie Affair handicap.
On the outside here is Secret Kin. Nix and Ripe Tomatoes charging home on the stand side. Final 16th. Secret Kin just led. Nix now strikes the front. It's Nix and James Graham. Nix prevails on the wire in 1:10.3. Deep in this final furlong, Pathway has just in front of Bowtie Pasta, who is not surrendering lightly. Pathway and Bowtie Pasta. Bowtie Pasta and Eddie Razzo Jr. A frantic finish. Mighty Rule. River Bear with a late thrust. River Bear on the wire. Apple Martini just found a split. Final 16th. Sun for Fun. Here's Apple Martini. Sun for Fun. Apple Martini. Apple Martini at the first line. Ocean Ace in front now for Fernando Jara. Down to the final 16th. Agnostic tight at the rail. Charter Class, Las Guapas, Ocean Ace. Ocean Ace switched out Agnostic. Ocean Ace first in the Springfield. Here's Fort Prado charging on the outside of Gentleman Chester 2 as the first line looms. Fort Prado at 8. At the age of 8, Fort Prado still great.
Chris Block entered numerous horses for yesterday's big day at Arlington, and he came away with 2 stakes winners, both Apple Martini and Fort Prado.
Fort Prado, the 8-year-old gray, 17 lifetime wins, $1.1 million plus. He just keeps on going along. He's a great horse. He's a fun horse to root for. And Chris Block, he's got some nice horses in his barn. Apple Martini, I believe a full sister to Giant Oak, who we all look forward to see running again after his sensational effort come back here in 2009 on grass.
He loves the turf. Maybe Apple Martini will as well.
Harness driver Todd Warren had his own version of the early pick 4 at Balmoral Saturday night.
River of Faith, Weezer, Stand on My Own, these 3 to the wire. Inside River of Faith, here comes Stand on My Own. River of Faith, Stand on My Own. Weezer, River of Faith tight, then I'm all in. Z-Tam in 154.
That's 4 for Todd Warren in 4 races.
Coming wide on the outside, Stand on My Own, all on his own. I'm sure he won't be in the winner's circle. Good effort, Todd Warren having a fantastic evening at Balmoral, 4 for 4 on the young card.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just go Warren.
Go,
Warren
that's all I'm
the
saying,
time.
Warren.
Teed up, lighting them up, hitting them fairway to green.
Samantha Siegel has some good advice on being an owner and how to pick out the perfect stable name.
What's behind the stable name? JMS?
Okay, we used to run under Jan Mace and Samantha Siegel. And when my mom was sick, we realized we wanted to switch to a stable name. So I called New York because New York has more rules for everything else than anybody else. And I said, what are your rules for a stable name? And she said, it can't have racing in it. It has to end in stable or farm, and you can't use all initials. And we were thinking of JMS, and she said, you can't use all initials, but you could spell one of them. And I thought, well, that would look lame, but if we spell all of them, now that would be cool. So the J is for Jan, the M is for Mace, and the S is for Samantha, and we're JMS.
We've got an email coming in, from Palm Springs, California, and this is Paul. He wants to know, what advice would you have for someone who is thinking of getting involved in horse racing as an owner, besides stay away?
It's not easy. You know, if you have a friend or know somebody that's involved with racing, you know, talk to them, go out to the races with them, meet people. It's a very instinctual business. It really is.
I was going to say that Ron Ellis said that you don't take a single win for granted.
No, you never know when the next one's coming from, and you can go through unbelievably hot streaks where I joke we're on the multivitamin plan, one a day. And then sometimes they just turn off the faucet, and it's just like, wow, what happened? There's an expression, horses are like strawberries, they spoil overnight. 1,000,001 things can happen to you in a race. I mean, unbelievable. And every win's special, you know, the bigger the race, the bigger the thrill, but they're great. It's a lot of fun.
When HRTV Rewind returns, Rachel works under the lights.
She's just been a pleasure to train since the day she walked in the barn. She's done everything right.
She's every trainer's dream, every jock's dream, and every owner's dream.
And Cajun jockeys dominate Downs After Dark.
Well, us Cajun guys, we grew up riding at night, so I've won 1,000 races under the lights, so it's nothing new to us.
If you back Burrell, go and form an orderly queue at the line.
We're going to put a bullet next to your drill. It is bullet drill time here on Against the Odds. And you like the nightlife. I know this. I want you to name 3 dances.
3 dances?
3. I know you dance all the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm a real great. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to the 60s, okay?
That's you're losing me.
I know.
Go ahead. Yeah,
about, let's say, the twist, the locomotion, and the mashed potato. Okay.
All right. Another guy that likes the nightlife is Dracula. Name one thing Dracula hates.
Daylight, I think, right?
He hates daylight.
Okay.
And last one. What is your bedtime, considering it's nightlife, and when do you go to sleep?
That all depends when my last race is handicapped. It could be 11 at night, 9 o'clock.
Did you expect a different answer from Jeff Siegel?
The history of horse racing includes many memorable firsts, and this past Friday was your chance to witness another at Churchill Downs.
He remembers setting the standard for 3-year-olds to come.
America's Triple Crown. A truly great 3-year-old.
He remembers his first $1 million race.
And they're off in the inaugural running of the Arlington Million. John Henry is charging.
She remembers making history.
Colonial Affair with Julie Crone takes command.
Julie Crone, first woman ever to win a Triple Crown race.
He remembers becoming a champion.
Here's the wire, and a champion is crowned. It's Chiefs Crown.
First ever Breeders' Cup race in the books.
She remembers beating the boys.
But it's going to be Einstein to win the big cap.
It's an unbelievable feeling. He means the world to me, and it's my biggest win.
He remembers finally finishing first.
They're nearing the finish. It's all swale. He's there by 4 lengths. Lafitte Pinkai Jr., one of the great jockeys of all time.
You'll never forget the first time.
Everybody, welcome to Downs After Dark.
In 1988, the Chicago Cubs fans got a treat, something they thought they'd never see, and that was lights at Wrigley Field. 21 years later, and I'm proud to say I'm here with Kate and Bradar, the Churchill Downs fans are getting the same thing, lights at the Twin Spires.
Me being a Chicagoan who was in the city at the time those lights came on, I remember what a big event it was and how some resisted, some wanted to stay true to tradition, but what a great thing it was for Chicago ball fans, and what a great thing this is for horse racing fans here in Louisville, who have been a buzz about this for weeks. And truly, as you go in and out of the city, you would hear just about every place you walked in, what do you think about the lights? I'm going to the Downs. I want to check this out. I think we're exposing a whole new group of people to racing tonight, and I think we're also making another time niche for those who like to follow racing but maybe don't get the opportunity because of other things that happen during the day. And when the fans were coming in, Pete, I did see a couple of ladies come in a limousine. The limousines are lined up at valet parking with just fans getting their pictures taken, walking the red carpet. It's really incredible.
You almost feel like you're in a club in New York and Chicago and LA. It is very much a club-like atmosphere. And I'm also happy to report this morning, got a chance to go to the backstretch. Most of the horsemen, in fact, I would say 95% of the horsemen I walked into were very, very positive about what's going to happen tonight. There is all kinds of food, all kinds of wagering opportunities, a $1 million guaranteed pick 4, and if that was not enough, it's just going to be one big party.
Yeah, in fact, the band is already playing as the fans come in, and they are talking about Fiesta all night long, and that's really what we're going to have.
We really didn't know what to expect. We thought we might get as many as 25,000 people or so. I think we're going to end up a little bit north of that. It's been absolutely fantastic. The community's just really warmed up to this. It's a historic night here at Churchill Downs, but everyone's just really excited to be here and they're having a great time.
Here comes my boy Joe down the wide outside. Zone Buster flying too late. My boy Joe.
Well, us Cajun guys, we grew up riding at night, so I won 1,000 races under the lights. So it's nothing new to us, but I'm impressed with the way they have it set up this evening, and I think it's a step forward for the future.
With a 16th to go, if you back Burrell, go and form an orderly queue at the line.
Tell you what, I didn't think I'd see the crowd already, you know, before the first race, and it was unbelievable. It's outrageous.
Racing down towards the final 16. Sean Bridgman and Ocean Colours are out in front. They lead now by over 2 lengths and winning on the debut on turf. It was Ocean Colours.
Scott, she's out of a Kentucky Derby winner, so there had to be some high hopes for this filly all along.
She's a little distance limited, you know, which we all know her mother wasn't. Thought we'd move her to the grass, and she liked it.
John, did you ever think you'd see this evening?
Not only seeing it, but seeing this crowd turn out is a phenomenal thing. It's not that often you can be around a place that's been in existence for 135 years and experience something completely new, but that's what we're doing tonight.
Cosmic is out in front, and here is winner number 50 of the spring meet at Churchill Downs for Calvin Burrell. The darling of the fans wins on Cosmic.
You know, we worked so hard to get here, and it's very special for him and Mr. Grum, and, you know, it's unbelievable.
It's late at night. He just won the feature race for you. Does he get a little time off tomorrow morning, or has he got to go to work?
At 6. No, he's going to Chicago tomorrow. He gets a day off.
He gets the day off.
Rachel Alexandra got a chance to test out the new lights at Churchill Downs, going 6 furlongs on Monday.
I want to talk about the filly that paid off in a big way in the Preakness Stakes, Rachel Alexandra. I saw her under the lights with her last work last week, tuning up. How's she done since?
She's just been a pleasure to train since the day she walked in the barn. She's done everything right. She had a major move last week. We'll come back on Monday and put a little work in her, a little tune-up for the 27th. But, you know, physically and mentally, she's in outstanding shape.
So her plan from here is one work, and then she ships to New York?
One work, and then Tuesday we'll fly her to New York for the Mother Goose.
What about Rachel? How's she doing?
She looks awesome. I mean, I watched her work Monday morning. It was unbelievable. She's just a natural runner, you know. I mean, there's nothing to say about her, you know. She's just a racehorse. I mean, she's every trainer's dream, every jock's dream, and every owner's dream.
Racing under the lights continued Saturday at Charlestown. Aaron and Zoe spoke with trainer David Fox minutes before the drama started.
You took the blinkers off last time out, put the blinkers back on. Describe for the viewers here on HRTV the reason for the equipment change this time in the Red Legend.
You know, the last part of the race, you know, if you watch the head-on in the Preakness, he was kind of all over the track. I think he was watching the rider more than what was going. So I decided to go ahead and put the blinkers back on him.
What are your concerns about the gate? I've seen in his past running lines he can be a little bit fractious, so you've been schooling him.
Honestly, he's never done a thing wrong. I don't know why any of the past running lines would say that. He's always been an angel in the gate. I don't know. I mean, he was the first horse in, the second horse in. It was a long wait, you know. Tonight he's one of the second to last in. Cooled him a bunch. Hopefully it'll all pay off.
David, he's got Eibar Koa back in the saddle. Both times Koa's ridden. He's crossed the wire first. How did that come about that you got Koa in town to ride?
I just called him up. You want to ride? I'll be there.
Big Drama takes the lead and looks to take off under Eibar Koa at the furlong pole. He's gone to win the Red Legend Stakes at Charlestown. On the outside, Bunker Hill's going to get second. The unofficial winning time, 1:24 flat.
When HRTV Rewind returns, artists inspired by horse racing.
You know, once it gets in your blood, you can't get it out, and you don't want to get it out.
And Wesley's week at Royal Ascot.
Now I've sort of opened the doors, and I think there'll be a lot more trainers from the States. That horses that are peaking, will bring them over for a big run at a big race meet.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the finale, an impression of the legendary late comedian Rodney Dangerfield. I'll tell you, I can't wait for this race to start. The flag is up. Let's get them going. And they're off for the finale. I'll tell you what, that velvet sword came out like a rocket ship. Opens up 2 lengths in a hurry. Are you kidding? Sky Ruler's outside of him. And Cool Your Jets is at the back of the pack. I'll tell you, we ran 12 races today. Are you kidding? Reality sets in. It's another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. They're inside the 8th pole. Rising Czar on the inside. Cool Your Jets. Are you kidding? It looks like Mickey Martin's going to hit it out of the park. Cool Your Jets from last to first. I'll tell you that Chris Russell can ride. Ooh, what a race. Cool Your Jets wins it all. Let's get out of here. It's past 6:30.
Rewinding back to May, Wesley Ward was on Race Day America before heading to Ascot with his 6 American horses.
If you talk to people around the world, especially in Europe, Royal Ascot is where they not only want to go, but they want to win a race. Does that give you a little bit of nerves going into this?
You know, I'm looking forward to going over there. I'm looking forward to the competition. I'm looking forward to see just what I can do with not only Cannonball in the sprint races, but with my 2-year-old.
Wesley won 2 races at Ascot, the Windsor Castle Stakes and the Grade 2 Queen Mary with Jealous Again. He also finished second in the Grade 1 Golden Jubilee with Cannonball.
When the history of it hits you, you're the first American trainer to win at the Royal Ascot meet. In the history of Royal Ascot, that goes back to 1711.
Yeah, I understand that, and I realize that, but I just think that now I've sort of opened the doors, and I think there'll be a lot more trainers from the States. That horses that are peaking, will bring them over for a big run at a big race meet.
And are we likely to see you at Royal Ascot in the future?
I certainly hope so. We had such a wonderful experience here, and everybody's been so helpful for us that hopefully that we can come back and have success.
And what are the possibilities for the 2 winners as you look to the rest of the year?
I'll tell you what, we're gonna sort of take a look at some of the races here, because there's not a lot of opportunities right now in the States for 2-year-olds on the grass. So, you know, we might sort of late summer, something like that, come back and maybe target some of their races.
Race Day America caught up with an artist and an author who use horse racing as inspiration for their work.
Rick Maturi joining us by telephone. Rick, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for bringing some of racing history to life about what I've read is a skinny, too-tall kid from the West who took the Eastern tracks by storm.
Yes, Carolyn and Scott, nice to see you.
Why do you think it is that when we look at here, we're showing his stats, 26.4 winning mounts, 60.9 in the money, his Triple Crown success. Why is it that we don't talk about Earl Sandy in the same sentence of, say, Hardtack, Shoemaker, and Arcaro?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you mentioned 26.4% winning mounts. Shoemaker's 21.9, Arcaro and Hardtack 19.8, George Wolfe of Seabiscuit fame 19.1. And I think it's the fact that Sandy was a little bit prior to these people back in the 20s, and nobody's around that remembers Sandy, or very few people. and his life has kind of been forgotten, even in the racing world. And that's what we're trying to do with the book, and visiting the tracks, is let people know the statue of this great man.
There's so many great stories in reading about Earl Sandy, and one that stands out to me is the night before the 1930 Belmont Stakes. Fill in the rest for those viewers out there that probably don't know this story.
Well, just before the Belmont, Sandy and another jockey went out for dinner, and their tire blew on their car, and the car rolled over, and he ended up in the hospital. And I believe you have a photo of Sandy with the Belmont Trophy and Mr. Woodward. And if you look over Sandy's eye, there's a number of bandages there. His face was all cut up, and his hands were all cut up, but he still went on to win the 1930 Triple Crown on Gallant Fox.
Robert Clark puts into painting thoroughbred racehorses something he has focused on specifically with his gift.
And it's amazing what he's done. They're so lifelike, and there are a lot of people out there doing it, but not a lot they're doing as well as Mr. Clark.
I was perusing your website, looking at how many people have asked you why you paint thoroughbreds, but you said those of us in the industry that love these horses would understand. Tell us more.
Well, it's a funny question to someone like you or to me, but it's a question I've been asked kind of all my life. And I would scratch my head, and I couldn't really explain it. And finally I figured out, you know what? The people who don't ask the question, they get it. The ones that have to ask the question, they'll never figure it out. And so, we're talking right now with horse people that are listening, and they understand. Once it gets in your blood, you can't get it out, and you don't want to get it out.
When we were up at Saratoga last summer, Curlin was in the paddock. How did he capture your attention? What did you get from seeing Curlin in person that you transferred to your work?
Now, you're going to think we set these questions up because you're talking about a horse that I love to talk about, because every time I've seen him with my own eyes, he sparkles. And the way the sunlight hit him, he absolutely sparkles. And, all horses have something special about them. But you get those one or two that you just look at and go, oh, my. That is just incredible. And he's got that look about him. He just holds your attention. What a great look. That shiny golden coat, the way his mane caught the light that day, it was just, and I've seen him 2 or 3 times since then, and every time he sparkles every time you see him.
That's all for this week. Here's a sneak peek at what's coming up next week, including an all-new inside information.
To the finish, and it is all Barbaro in a sublime performance. He runs away from them all, and he has saved something left for the Preakness. Barbaro wins by 7.
After Barbaro's decisive win in the 2006 Kentucky Derby, the nation was captivated by what looked like an overdue Triple Crown in the making. However, the brilliant colt would sadly never be able to reach his full potential. A devastating leg injury in the Preakness Stakes not only ended Barbaro's career, but eventually led to his death. On Tuesday, January 29, 2009, the 2-year anniversary of his passing, a magnificent bronze statue was unveiled on the grounds of Churchill Downs, just outside of Gate 1, to forever commemorate the brave champion with a rendering of his most remarkable achievement.
1, 2, 3.
Well, the big news up at Saratoga this week wasn't horses training, which they are on the Oklahoma training track. It was actually a loose moose who found his way down Broadway Avenue, and some quick-thinking security guards opened up the gates of Saratoga, welcomed this yearling cow moose into the area, closed the gate, and waited for officials to arrive.
I like the sign. The sign, may I help you? I mean, the moose said, look, I'm just trying to help. A year-old, somewhere between 500 and 600 pounds. Way to go, Saratoga.
Or how does that work?
Mises? Mooses? Mices?
Moose, I help you.